Well, everyone, happy holidays. Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Today we have some big new sorcery information to chat with you about. It's really great. The sorcery team has put out a spoiler for their next set, Arthurian Legends, as well as a great interview with Simon and Eric chatting about their retrospective of 2023 and just evaluating that kind of year. And it was just really cool to see the behind the scenes. But today we are just going to be talking about the Arthurian Legends spoiler card, the round table. We're not going to do every single spoiler for sorcery in the next set. We'll talk about them when they come up, but this is the first one. It gives us some information about the release cadence and that kind of stuff. So first and foremost, the big thing here coming 2024, no surprise here. But I will say that this insinuates to me that this set is coming out, Arthurian Legends is coming out before the Dragon set that is Ed Beard Jr.'s kind of tiny set, mini set is kind of what they've been throwing around, a little bit of an idea. We have seen some of the artwork from Ed Beard Jr. This is the Dragon's Lair. Really cool stuff. It seems like Arthurian Legends is going to be coming out before that, which I think is great. This is supposedly going to be a full-on set. On the interview that we did with Simon on the podcast, if I recall correctly, it was basically confirmed that it's a smaller set than Alpha Beta was. So not maybe not 403 cards, but we can expect a full-sized set, whatever the full-sized regular sets are for Arthurian Legends. We'll see. But yeah, here we go. The first card of Arthurian Legends that is spoiled, that is revealed. Really cool. The round table. Gather as equals at this unique monument. A couple things. Number one, it costs 3, but it has no threshold. So you can put this in any deck. So that's kind of cool. And whenever it has to be cast to your back row. So if you don't play the game, this is what that means. The back row will be this row right here on the bottom. Your back row would be the one that is closest to you. Your opponent's back row would be, the one that's closest to your opponent. And so I really like this mechanic of utilizing the grid and constraining you to a specific amount of tiles. This is really cool. This reminds me of RuneScape with what's going on in the RuneScape community, where they are doing like Tilemen and Swampletics, and they are locking the game into one specific area. And it's just a really good use of sorcery's most unique attribute, which is the grid. And it's good card design. I really like it. So you have to cast this to your back row. And then whenever you summon King Arthur or a knight, sir, or dame to the round table, draw a card. So you put this monument there, and then anytime you summon a minion that fits the criteria, you get to draw a card. So a really strong card. Anything that has card draw, specifically in sorcery, I think is going to go a long way. Sorcery, you start with 3 spell cards in your hand. You run out of cards, pretty quickly. So getting to draw a card every time a minion enters your battlefield, if you summon it on the round table, is pretty strong. It's going to cause, I think, a lot of opponents to want to come to the round table, no pun intended, come to the round table and prevent you from wanting to cast your creatures there. So it's really cool. It also tells us then that we are, this isn't really like a surprise, I don't think, in Arthurian Legends. I think we probably all assumed that we would get a being or a minion or something called King Arthur. But this does suggest, because we are summoning King Arthur, that King Arthur will not be an avatar or something like that. King Arthur will just be a minion that gets summoned by your avatars. And that should be the same then for most of the Knights of the Round Table. I'm not super familiar with Arthurian Legends. We're going to do a video later on in the year, in a couple months or a couple weeks maybe, where we kind of go through like some of the lore of Arthurian Legends. So this is kind of cool because we can expect to get some of these knights. And it's really cool because it opens up the door for sorcery, I think, to have an Arthurian Legends 2 set, right? Like where they dive into more of the Arthurian Legends. And it's just it's a cool card. It's a cool design for a flavor of stuff. So a knight, a sir, a dame to the round table draws you a card. Yeah, pretty cool. Again, nothing like crazy, no crazy reveals or anything like this, but absolutely awesome that we are getting a spoiler to get us excited and hyped up for the set. A couple other just notes about this stuff. Obviously, this is no longer alpha or beta. So the copyright symbol next to the art, which is done by Margaret Oregon Keaton, I may have pronounced that wrong. Sorry. Anyway, the there's no alpha beta logo down there. It is the copyright logo, which is unique for Sorcery. The sample cards did have a copyright logo, but then we also have our first set symbol, which is really cool. Over here on the right, the first set symbol, I assume that's what that is, for the game. So that's really good. I think there's a couple people worried, like, would they do set symbols, that kind of stuff, because their whole thing, they don't have card numbers and that kind of stuff. Their whole thing is not taking away from the artwork. But I like that they are doing set symbols, and that is pretty cool. It allows you to kind of know what set everything's from if you're not super familiar with the cards. But last kind of conversations, if you can go and watch the interview with Simon and Eric, it's really, they are really making this a draftable set. That's one of the things that they kind of honed in on, and they're pretty much done, from my understanding and what I remember from the interview. They're pretty much done with the set. They're kind of in the final preparations of, finishing out the artwork and all that stuff, but the actual mechanics and stuff are pretty honed in. And their whole thing right now, their focus on it, was to make it a really fun draft and limited experience. And that is just really cool, because it's going to be really cool to interact. I'm excited for deck building and that kind of stuff too, but it's going to be really cool to interact with just the Arthurian legends and tell the stories of the Arthurian legends within a sealed pod, within a vacuum of the set. It's going to be a really cool mechanic. And I'm glad that they are focusing on draft and in sealed format. I think that having a smaller set will help with that a lot. With alpha beta, the set size is so big that it's hard to get a consistent draft basis when you have so many cards and so many different polls. So it adds in my opinion, it adds a value to the set. There's other value adds with a bigger set, right? Like, the poll rates are more difficult, so there's other value adds with a bigger set. But it's good that they are focusing in on a limited experience, because it does really, really create a memory for the set for people. We draft Magic every week at my LGS Game Grove, and people love the sets that have good limited formats. It's a huge, huge part of people's connection to the set if they can repeatedly play with the cards in a limited format. So this is really cool, really exciting that is a focal point for them. And this is a really great first initial card. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be awesome. Let me know what you think in the comment section below the round table. And we are going to have a great year next year. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff, just so you guys all know. We're going to be doing some Discord server games. We're going to be doing some stuff like that. We're going to have, I'm going to give you, those of you guys still watching this late in the video, we're going to have a regional kind of tournament set up, probably in March, that kind of thing. Working on some of the details of that kind of stuff, where we're going to have a cool circuit with a couple other stores. So keep your eye on the forefront of the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Really excited about Arthurian Legends. Hopefully you guys have yourself a fantastic holiday. Make sure you go watch the interview with Eric and Simon, because it's super good. Remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.